Very good. Yeah, everybody have a good day yesterday? Yeah, I have to say thank you to Jessica and her team. I was here yesterday and I think I took like 5 pages worth of notes. I don't know about you guys, but I found this incredibly helpful. So I am really excited to be up here, excited to be part of this. I have to laugh as I sat through yesterday and give you guys kind of full disclosure about me. As you heard, I'm an attorney, right? That's my background. I practiced law for quite a while. I don't have a Twitter account. I don't have an Instagram account, right? I have a personal Facebook page. I don't post anything on it, right? I am that person that just likes to creep and find out what everybody else is doing, right? Because I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing all that information. So what does that mean? That all of you sitting in your seats right now should be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a train wreck. Why is this lady standing on the stage? Well, one thing I do have is I have experience putting a marketing plan into place. I have experience developing that marketing plan in the first place. And the one thing that I think makes me, I guess, somewhat qualified to be up on this stage is I have made a ton of mistakes, right? Everybody makes mistakes. I kind of feel like I may have made a few more than everybody else, especially when it comes to marketing. I kind of think that there's a lot of things that I am good at, right? I'm a good cook. I can garden pretty well. One of the other things I'm good at is burning through money, right? So if any of you guys have a 20 in your pocket and you're like, oh my gosh, I have too much money, I want to get rid of this, bring it to me, right? I can light it on fire by making a bad decision with it and spending it somewhere that I shouldn't, right? I might also put it in my pocket and buy lunch with it, but just putting that out there. So what I'm here to talk about to you guys today is how do you develop that marketing plan? How do you put it into action? And what are some of the lessons that I have learned and that we have learned as a company? When we talk about 50 Strong, it's my husband, Brendan, who's sitting down here. It's he and I. We run it together. What have we learned from these mistakes, and how can it help all of you to develop your marketing plans and put them into place? So I'll start with a little bit of background on 50 Strong. Ooh, is this changing? There we go. Who we are. What's this whole 50 Strong thing about? So background, I grew up in a manufacturing family. My dad started a manufacturing company back in 1982. I was that kid growing up that always says, no way am I going into the family business. Not gonna happen. I want nothing to do with it, right? I went to law school. I was gonna have this big shot job at a big firm. Famous last words, right? I always say this to my kids now, like everything that you say you're not gonna be when you grow up, right? Get ready. Anybody else can relate to that, right? So fast forward, I ended up coming back into our family's business. And what that business was essentially a contract manufacturing company. Now, what does that mean? What it means is somebody comes to us. Let's say it's Joe. Joe has a product. Joe needs that product made. So Joe comes to us, hey, can you make this product for me, right? Yes, we can do that. We have the machinery. We're located maybe 10 miles away from here. Our factory is really close. We make the widget, give it back to Joe. That's what we did, right? All in all, it's a fairly good business to be in. The problem with that business is that Joe brings you your widget, right? We're making the widget, everything's going well, and all of a sudden Joe says, time out. I can get this widget made in China, and I can save 5 cents by doing it. So I'm gonna take that business away from you, contract manufacturer, and I'm gonna ship it overseas. That sucks, right? I wish I could put it in a more eloquent way, but that's the reality of it. Why do I say that? Because at our factory here in Lima, 10 miles away, right, we have employees who have families, they have spouses, they have kids. They need that job to support their families, right? And when that piece of business that we had earned goes overseas, what goes with it? Those jobs. right? We then have to tell that mom or dad, I am sorry, we have to lay you off. We're not going to be able to give you a paycheck. So for Brendan and I, coming back in as the second generation of this business, you're walking onto a roller coaster ride, right? Some years are good, some years are bad. I know all of you that run a small business can relate to this. It's not a fun ride to be on. It's not a thrill ride that you want to be part of. So we had this vision of, hey, if we're going to come back into this business and we're going to be the second generation, we got to do things differently. And for us, in hindsight, straight up crazy, but we said, hey, we're going to start a brand of our own. And we had some encouraging with that, actually by someone at this little small retailer you may have heard of called Walmart. Okay? Some of you may shop there. At the time, when Brett and I came back into the business, we had one product at Walmart. Interestingly enough, it wasn't something that was one of our core competencies. We made just a small plastic part for that product. So we had a connection, right? This goes back to what a lot of the speakers talked about yesterday. We had an existing relationship at Walmart. And we decided, okay, we think there's something to this. Let's take this, see if we can blow this thing up and make a great company, make a great national brand. Now, step back and think about this, right? My husband, Brendan, is a mechanical engineer. I am an attorney. We don't know anything about building a brand. Nothing, right? Our company had never done any marketing, literally not a dime spent on marketing in the past. And here we are with this grand vision of we are going to go out and we are going to conquer the world, right? And you know what? That was in 2012. Fast forward, it is 2018, obviously now. During that time, we have worked with consultants. We've worked with business consultants. We've worked with marketing consultants from small operations all the way out to teams running out of Manhattan, right? We've worked with designers, we've worked with industrial designers, we've worked with graphic designers. And working with all these people, we have learned a lot of lessons, right? Our business has grown tremendously. Today we have 16 items that are sold in Walmart stores nationwide. We continue to grow over the next 12 months. You'll see our products roll out in even more departments at Walmart, which is super exciting. The water bottles that you guys all got in your gift bags, I hope you enjoy those. Those came, our team here in Lima made those. Thank you. We're super happy with how they turned out, so enjoy those. So that's kind of our backstory. And now I want to jump into some of the lessons that we have learned. And I tried to narrow it down. And I narrowed it down, sorry, I can't tell if this is working, to 5 key lessons. And I kind of have a story that goes with each of them. So I'll tell you what they are. Number 1, anyone can be a great marketer. I hope that you guys really take that out of here, because I know even yesterday as I sat here, I loved the graphic that the speakers had at the end where it was like the garden hose and it's hitting you with information, right? Because it can feel totally overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed a lot still, okay? And I've been doing this for a while. So I want to tell you, anyone can be a great marketer. Number 2, big lesson here. You know your business better than anybody else. Own that. Literally like giant letters, own that. That's your weapon. That is gonna be your superpower to having great marketing, right? The next one, there are no concrete rules, except for the rule that there are no concrete rules, right? And we'll talk about this. Anybody that tries to tell you differently, that tries to tell you there's only one way, for my 2 cents, run, red flag, run away, because there are no concrete rules. The next one, be nice. I tried to think of a more eloquent way to put this, like to make it sound fancier, whatever. This is as basic as it gets. And this one is huge. Be nice. Last one, and this one for Brendan and I, is kind of what keeps us going and what's led us to a lot of our success. Keep showing up. Brendan and I have a mantra, and it's kind of 3 different things. Bring the joy, embrace the hustle, keep showing up. If I could boil down kind of for 50 strong, what has helped our business to grow and why have we had success? Because we keep showing up. And we'll talk about that. All right, so lesson 1. Anyone can be a great marketer, right? You heard my bio. I'm an attorney. I don't know anything about marketing. My undergraduate degree is in business, but when I was in school, I took one marketing class, right? And I'll date myself here. I took that marketing class in 2001, right? Marketing has changed slightly since 2001, right? We were the MySpace generation. Like, that was just hitting. It was back in the day when you could download music for free, and we had these epic song collections, right? That was what I knew about marketing when I came into this. And what I hope that me standing on this stage shows you is that anybody can do it. And what's beautiful about this point in time is the access that we all now have to learn how to be a great marketer. It's better than ever, right? Which I hope makes all of you super excited. If you're terrified or you're overwhelmed from yesterday, switch that up and get excited, because now you have access to so many free resources that it should be super exciting, right? Things like YouTube, all right? I'm always hounding my kids about YouTube and the things that they watch on YouTube. It drives me crazy, right? I don't know if you have kids and they do this and they watch other kids playing video games, right? And I am that parent that sits on the couch and I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you doing that? That's such a waste of time. And then I go to work and I can't figure out how to do something, so I get on YouTube to try to watch a video of how to do it, right? It's amazing what's out there. Obviously, you've got to be, somewhat cautious, but we have learned so much of what we do for marketing, graphic design from YouTube, and it's free. Second one, podcasts. I am a podcast junkie. I know there was a lot of discussion about podcasts yesterday. If you guys aren't listening to podcasts, check it out. Every morning on the way to work, I listen to a podcast. Every day on my drive home, I listen to a podcast. You can listen to them anywhere. I'll talk a little bit later about our Amazon business and how we have built it. Not an exaggeration, a lot of what we do on Amazon, we have learned from free podcasts. So check that out. Last thing, the event you're at right now. And events like this. This is an awesome event. It's an awesome way to learn about marketing. So keep coming to this. The next key point I want to make is believe in you. This is one, full disclosure, I struggle with. I have said to numerous people, like, I would never get a tattoo across my face, but if I did, this is what I should tattoo across my face. So that every time I look in the mirror, this is what quote comes back to me. This is a Brendon Burchard quote. Right? I'm a junkie for self-help stuff. I love Brendon Burchard. I love some of his quotes, right? This one is always believe in your own ability to figure things out. This is a hard lesson that we have learned. This is an expensive lesson that we have learned. So for all of you, this is me being a cheerleader for all of you guys. If you can do this, if you are faced with a problem, you are going to be able to figure it out. Just believe in yourself. So that was your cheerleading, uplifting moment for the morning. So I hope you take that. Second lesson, and this is what I'm going to spend a lot of time on because I think it's going to be really helpful. You know your business better than anybody else. Own that. Now, if you're sitting there at that table and you're thinking, Ashley, actually I don't. Stop everything you are doing and make that your focus. Now, what do I mean when I say you know your business better than anybody else? A couple of things. Number one, know your industry. And I'll walk you through the industry in which we operate, and I think it'll help you understand this. Know your competitors. When we walk into a Walmart meeting, right, I know the hydration market, which is the market for water bottles, better than anybody else, better than any competitor, right? I don't say that like to be arrogant, not something you typically brag about, like, ooh, I know water bottles way better than you do, right? Woohoo! When you talk about the hustle, and I talked about the hustle, bring the joy, embrace the hustle, this is where the hustle comes in, right? How do you know your market better than anybody else? You research it. For me, you walk stores. You buy your competition's products, right? If you're a service provider out there, like you're a plumbing company, you're on your competitors' websites. You're seeing what they're doing. You're seeing why are people using someone else's services, right? Not only do you know every angle of your own business, but you know every angle of your competitor's business. And then finally, it's kind of the obvious one, the one that we think about when we go to marketing, and it's knowing your audience or knowing your consumer, your customer. Who is it that's going to pay you money to do what you do, right? Because at the end of the day, we all run a business, right? We are in this to make money. Full disclosure, we all want to be good. We want to do good things in the world. But at the end of the day, we want to get paid to do it, right? So again, this is like the back to the basics. Knowledge is power. Like when you were a kid, you saw that in school, but it's so true. And it's true in every industry that you're in, right? Your knowledge about your business, your industry, your competitors, and your audience, that's your superpower that can help you build an amazing marketing plan that's going to set you apart from everyone else. Own that knowledge. And again, this is just have confidence that you know what you're doing. You know the market you're going into. That can help be a big key for success. And the last one, and this is an important one, and it's an interesting timing that I'm up here doing this speech right now because we're in the middle of this right now at 50 Strong, is reevaluate your plan. Because guess what? Things are going to change. Industries are going to change. There are going to be curveballs thrown your way that you are not expected, and you're going to have to take a dramatic left turn and make changes. And that's okay. And know that that's okay, and be willing to make those changes. So when we talk about knowing your business, I'm going to walk you through an example of the market that we operate in. And I think it's kind of fascinating, so I hope you guys find it fascinating. And have you ever thought about how a product gets on the shelf? So anybody that shops at Walmart, when you go in, do you ever look at an item and say, I wonder how this got here? I never did. Never did. So if you're sitting here thinking, no, don't worry, because I never did either, right? We're all busy. We go in, we buy a product, you check out, and you move on, right? So I'll tell you how it works, because it's actually a pretty interesting process. So the process we have to go through is, first, we come up with an idea for a product, right? How does that happen? So you've all watched Shark Tank. We've often been told we're like real life Shark Tank, so to speak. So it can come a couple of different ways. Number one, it's a competency that we already have. We make plastic products. We know what types of products we can make. So we might have an idea on our own. We might have a retailer that comes to us and says, hey, can you guys make this? We may have an inventor that comes to us that says, hey, I have an idea, but I don't know what to do with it. So it can come a number of different ways. So we have this idea for the product. So what comes next? Next, you have to say, where could this product go, right? And I want you guys to all think about this in terms of your own businesses, right? So you have a product or a service. What are you going to do with it, right? So for us, we think about a product, and let's say if we were making a product and it was going to be $1,000 retail, right? We're probably not going to sell that to Walmart, right? For those of you that shop at Walmart, you don't go to Walmart to buy a $1,000 product, right? You go to buy something that's going to be hopefully high quality at a great price. That's what Walmart's known for. Save money, live better. So for us, we have to look and say, okay, is this a good fit? Sometimes we have products that are better for Amazon. Sometimes we have them that are better for Walmart. So what happens then? You got to get a meeting. How do retailers work? They have one person that's called a buyer. Walmart, they have about 300 of them that buy for individual departments. So if you go into Walmart and you walk down an aisle, chances are for each aisle, there's going to be one person that's in charge of buying everything that goes on that aisle. And what does that mean? Buying them from suppliers and getting them to sell to you. So one of the biggest challenges in our industry for people just getting into it is getting that first meeting. How do you get someone to sit down with you and give you a chance to pitch your product, right? Same thing for all of you that are if you're in the service industry. How do you get a consumer to be willing to give your business a chance? Oftentimes, that's the biggest challenge, and that's something you have to put a lot of thought into. The next thing is you have to actually have that meeting. You've got to sell it. This is where it literally becomes like Shark Tank. For Walmart, you go into these small rooms. They're maybe 10 by 10, right? Small table and chairs. There is nothing fancy there. and you usually have a half hour to pitch yourself and pitch your product, right? And that's if your buyer's on time. If they're running late to the meeting, you've got 20 minutes to sell yourself, right? And when we're talking about Walmart, if they're gonna place an order, we're talking about $1 million orders, right? So you have 20 minutes to sell yourself, and I'm saying sell yourself. Note I'm saying that. I'm not saying sell your product, right? Because essentially, what are they buying? They're buying that relationship with you. The promise that you're actually gonna deliver on what you said you were going to do. When Walmart makes a contract, they don't make it with 50 strong. They make it with Brendan and Ashley Thompson. That Brendan and Ashley Thompson are actually going to do what we say we're going to do in that meeting, right? So same thing with all of you, right? If you have that chance with the customer and you say they're gonna give you a service, provide a service, they're banking on you and the fact that you're actually going to do what you say you do. Because sadly, a lot of times now, and I'm sure you see this with customer service, it doesn't happen, right? People say a lot of things, they don't actually do it. But that's it. It's that meeting, sell yourself, sell that relationship. Okay, so then you fast forward about a year later. That's how long it takes a product to get to shelf, about 12 months. If you get that placement, you get awarded that contract, that purchase order, your product gets on the shelf, and only then do we talk about selling to the consumer, right? So it's kind of a long cycle. So let's think about this in terms of marketing. And this is where we're gonna do a little input. All right, so I'm gonna show you a product that we make. This is a product, water bottle. Who's my audience? Who should I be marketing to? Athletes. Who else? Moms. This is an amazing mixer bottle, by the way. Available on Amazon. No. Moms, athletes. So consumers, right? End users. Who else? Any other ideas? Schools. Another type of consumer. This is how we typically what we always think about in marketing, right? I'm gonna show you some other ways to think about it. I definitely care about that end-use consumer. Who else do I care about, though? Events like this. These are all the people I care about, that I want to market to. This is learning my lesson, and I shouldn't make animated slides for things like this, right? I don't just care about that retail consumer. I care about a lot of other people. Who do I probably care about the most? That second one you see on the top. That retail buyer. Why? Because my product never gets to the consumer unless I get that retail buyer to say yes to Brendan and Ashley Thompson and to agree to put my product on the shelf, right? So typically, when you think about marketing, you wouldn't think about marketing to that person. I think about that a lot, and I'm gonna show you some of the ways that we do that because you have to get crazy creative. But when you're thinking about your business, think about more than just the end user. Who else do I care about? All the employees of that retailer. Why? Local Walmart here in Lima. So our products are sold at local Walmart. What's required? Our products get shipped in, right? And they get put in the back room of Walmart. There are times those boxes never make it to the shelf. They should, but they don't always, right? It's that human factor. But if I can get an employee to know about 50 Strong, to know about our mission, to believe in what we believe in, right? When they see that box, guess what? It's gonna get put out on the shelf, right? And then once it gets put out on the shelf, that's how we get sales. So I care about all those other employees. I care about influencers. If you're a small business like us, you can't necessarily afford, right, to pay an influencer, right? We learned about this yesterday. But if you can get other people that buy into your mission, they'll become evangelists for your brand, right? And that's what you want. And finally, other people in the industry, right? Even your competition. Maybe this is a little ego, but you want them to know who you are, right? Again, part of knowing your audience. So this is where me, and I think some of you guys can relate to this. When I first started doing marketing, I really wanted somebody to just give me a formula. And be like, Ashley, you should spend 20% on your budget on Facebook ads marketing to the end consumer. You should spend 30% of your budget on this form of traditional media and you should target this. Like, I kind of have control issues, right? I would really like a concrete plan. I want to be able to execute that plan, and it's all like sunshine and rainbows. I haven't found somebody yet that can give me that concrete plan, right? And for each of these different segments, we have to market to them differently. And that's one thing that you have to start thinking about. And this is where we go to there's no concrete rules. I wish there was. I feel like marketing would be a lot easier if there were concrete rules, right? It would be a heck of a lot less fun, though. Some days I don't always say that it's not fun. It kind of depends on the day. So I'll tell you how we worked through marketing to all these people. So we do traditional social media, right? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have done this where we did it on our own. Fun fact, our Facebook account started on New Year's Eve several years ago in Brendan and I's living room, right? And we had 3 other couples that came to our house for a New Year's Eve party, and we all had our cell phones out and started our Facebook page, and it literally, like, everyone was sitting on the couch, they liked our page, and then they shared it. And then when my friends still laugh about this, that night, like all New Year's Eve, we kept checking because then more people were liking the page and more people were liking the page, right? And I know we shouldn't focus on those metrics, but when you're first starting out and you're like, oh my gosh, 50 people like our Facebook page, like we're rock stars. That's how it starts. Like there's no grandiose plan. It literally starts in the living room with some of our friends, right? That's what it takes. Like that's the reality of it. So we do traditional social. Traditional media, right? I know this is a social media conference. This is a really interesting topic. We have used in the past, we no longer do, but we've used a PR firm. Not someone local, it was a national scale PR firm. And we got a lot of press, right? We're in Forbes, Better Homes and Gardens, a number of athletic magazines, every major newspaper across the country. The thing you see on the bottom is Brendan and I did live TV, so Fox News with Maria Bartiromo. We did a live interview. Full disclosure, terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. I am pretty comfortable speaking in public. That was absolutely terrifying. It's kind of fun because you got hair and makeup done, felt a little like you were like rock star, but it was terrifying. But it was really great, and it was great for our brand. That particular TV stint came through our PR firm, right? Our products were featured on Rachel Ray, and then you have industry news, plastics news, right? Not something that's probably on all of your coffee tables, but if you're in our industry, it's an important publication. Next thing is a fun story about thinking outside the box, right? Do y'all see a billboard on your screen right now? So there's talk about billboards yesterday, right? A lot of talks about, like, who looks at a billboard? I agree with that, for the most part. I'm getting myself in trouble with some speakers. 50 Strong has done 1 billboard. We've purchased 1 billboard, right? So you heard me say that we sell products, and we're now at about 4,000 Walmart stores nationwide, all 50 states. Anybody have a guess where that billboard is? If you've heard my speech before, don't give it away. Any guesses? Bentonville. That billboard is right across from the Walmart home office. Why did we do that? That Walmart home office in Bentonville, Arkansas, employs thousands of employees. In front of that home office is one little narrow road that all those employees that go out of that parking lot have to turn onto to get to the main road. What do all those employees see? That billboard about 50 Strong. So all of those buyers that we are working with, all of the Walmart executives whose attention we want to get, see that billboard. Fun fact, before this billboard, Budweiser had it. After us, Stella had it. Big brands, right? Fun fact about this billboard, it was super expensive. We could only afford that billboard for 1 month, right? Because I got the price and they wanted us to do like 6 months, and I'm like, no, right? So we had it for 1 month, right? This is where I kind of think like the universe always does come together and bring good things. For the 2 months after we had reserved that billboard for, nobody else had bought that billboard. Well, I found out it's super expensive for billboard companies like to take it down and replace it. Our billboard stayed up for 3 months, and we only paid for 1 month. So yeah, if you're a small business owner, like, that's super exciting, right? It also might make us cheap, but I was pretty excited about that. So think outside the box. And that comes back to knowing your industry, right? Had we not known our industry, there's no way we would have done that. No way we would have done that, right? So go back to that slide I had about how do we market to each of these people. For a retailer, for the employees, ooh. Oh man, can you guys click for me? Sorry guys. Ooh. Well, there's different ways that we do it. For the other employees, I'll go off script here, right? There's other ways that we did, right? Social. We use social to reach those employees. That works. You can stay right there, right? We use traditional media. We use traditional media to get to the consumers. We use social media to get to the consumers. How do we get to our retail buyers that I talked about? Those other things that we talked about. Also, social media. For those of you that run Facebook ads, you can get pretty targeted, right? I went as far as, I don't know if I should really say this, but I wanted to target a buyer's wife. Why? That sounds really random, but we met her and we knew she was a fan of our brand. And for all you wives out there, you might be like, yeah, we have some pull over what happens in our household, right? I knew she was a fan of our brand. I really wanted her to tell her husband, who was making the buying decisions, hey, you should really take on that 50 Strong product. And we knew enough about her to serve her Facebook ads. That is one of the main reasons I don't do a lot of things on Facebook, because I know what people can do and it kind of creeps me out, right? But you've got to get creative. And when we go back to that hustle, right? How do you get ahead? You do things that other people aren't doing. Like targeting your buyer's wife, right? Again, let's go back to who else are we targeting? Influencers, same way. Social media, industry publications, even that traditional media, right? So using all of these different avenues of marketing to target your audience. Now, this next slide is where I'm gonna kind of take you guys on a dramatic left turn. Check my time here. Sometimes a brand has a midlife crisis. Maybe I shouldn't use the term midlife crisis because that makes this, it has a bad connotation. Maybe I'll say, call it an awakening. Sounds better, right? Makes me feel better about the whole thing. That's kind of where we are with 50 Strong right now. We went from 0 to 200 miles an hour like this, right? When we started the brand, it was go, 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 go as fast as we can. We had brought in consultants that said to Brendan and I, we know you guys can build a national brand on your own, but it's gonna take you 10 years. Hire us, we'll help you do it in 2. At the time, that seemed genius. Doing it in 2 years seemed genius. Trying to build a national brand in 2 years is nuts. It's crazy, right? Can it be done? Sure. There's a price. Your sanity, your time, your kids, right? Your relationships. Slow and steady does win the race. At times, it's so hard. I'm super impatient. And sometimes it can be hard to go slow, but sometimes slow is better. So what you see us now, if you check our 50 Strong social media, you'd be like, what is going on? You guys aren't doing anything, right? And that's right, because we haven't. I talked about we kind of built this big team of people, and we spent the last couple months dismantling that team of people. Why? Because at some point when you're a business owner and you're a brand owner, you have to stop and take a deep breath. And you have to say, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? That's a big one. Why are we doing it? And is it successful? And there's some times when you have to take a step back and be like, oh, bad move. Shouldn't have done that. And you have to say, okay, this is where you swallow your pride. Be like, whoa, really screwed up that one. I'm good at this. Really screwed that up. We need to back this bus up and say we're going to do it a little differently. This actually makes me really happy that we're doing this, right? Because what we do and what you as brand owners have a chance to do is to say, okay, we're going to slow down and we're going to start building this brand again. And we're going to build it in a way that is authentic to Brendan and Ashley Thompson and to our whole team at 50 Strong, right? Because we have an amazing team of people behind us. And so I want you to know that that's okay to hit the reset button. Because for me, I think looking forward, we can now build a brand that's centered on bringing the joy, embracing the hustle, and showing up. Because that is a message that for us is really important to get out there to people, right? So it's okay if you have to stop and take a dramatic left turn, and I think you have to be willing to do that in marketing, to say, hey, not working, we're gonna do something a little differently. One of the big reasons we've changed that is, again, this little website called Amazon, right? We've always been a Walmart-based brand, and this year we started doing Amazon. And it's really changed the way I think about marketing. And I've shifted a lot of our budget now into running sponsored ads on Amazon. For those of you that are Amazon shoppers, you may not even notice these. You'll see it on your screen, but it's a sponsored ad. We pay for those. Why have I switched over? It converts like crazy. Literally, it converts like crazy. So for us, it's now recalibrating. How do we spend our marketing dollars? And making it work because we know our business, we know our industry, and we're willing to say, we made some bad mistakes. We're going to make things change things moving forward. And I shouldn't even call them mistakes, right? Because they're growing pains. They're things that we learned along the way. So I'll try to move a little faster, sorry. Next lesson, the one about being nice. So I have a good story that goes with this. I mentioned, you saw on that slide that we were in Forbes. And I mentioned that we had a PR team. Forbes didn't come from a PR team. Forbes was our biggest win in terms of traditional media. Huge for our business. Not only were we in an article on Forbes.com, I was actually interviewed by a Forbes reporter. There was a great online video about us on Forbes.com. Walmart picked up that video. Walmart retweeted it for us. Walmart shared it everywhere. Like, a good thing to have happen to your brand, right? How did that come about? Brendan and I were at an event in Bentonville, Arkansas. This will tie into the last point about keep showing up. There was a gentleman there that worked for Walmart. We kind of knew who he was, but he was standing by himself, an event like this. He was about our age, so we went over and started talking to him. Brendan is really great at this. I am not as comfortable sometimes in these big social events, but Brendan is great at it. Like, he can network, he's great. So we went and just started talking to the guy. Super nice guy, we hit it off, like became friends with the guy. Turns out he had an important role. Director of communications, right? We became friends. He became a fan of the brand, right? We talk about reaching other people. Fast forward a year later, I'm actually shopping at Walmart. That's not a joke. The irony was crazy. I looked down at my cell phone. It says Bentonville, Arkansas. One rule we have, if you get a call in our business from Bentonville, Arkansas, you always answer. You never put that to voicemail. I pick it up. It was this particular gentleman. He said, Ashley, we had this big event coming up with Walmart. We were going to be there. He says, hey, could you do something? I have a reporter from Forbes. Could you talk to a Forbes reporter, right? Small business owner. I'm like, play it cool, play it cool, play it cool, right? I'm like, yes, I think I can do that, right? And then you hang up the phone and you're like, oh my gosh, right? It ended up being great for us. That came because we were nice and we formed a relationship. Didn't come from anything else, right? And what's cool about that is the Forbes reporter was awesome. She was great, she was smart, she was witty, I loved her. Her and I hit it off. I still have a relationship with that Forbes reporter, right? She and I email, we talk. If we have something that's new, have that connection, that human-to-human connection. We have that relationship. Why'd it come? Being nice, right? Last lesson, this is a big one, keep showing up. Be physically present in order to stand out, right? One thing in the digital age is sometimes we lose that physical component, and that physical component in our industry is critical. And keep showing up in the form of, keep trying new things. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. One of the things I put on there is about burning through money can be a very valuable lesson. It's painful, and it stinks, but at least get something out of it. How do we show up? This has been a key to our success when you talk about marketing outside the box. So what you see here, this is the Bentonville Film Festival. Totally random, right? It's actually a really big film festival, really important event. Who's there? Brendan and Ashley Thompson. Who else is there? All of our retail buyers, Walmart executives, right? We're there. 50 Strong is there. Next, there's a Bentonville Half Marathon. Title sponsors, this is a fun one for this event, Nestle, you may have heard of them, Walmart, and 50 Strong, right? If you watched Sesame Street long ago and there was that thing about one of these things just doesn't belong, right? That's us. We don't belong on that banner, right? But we march up to that race and we're like, oh yeah, we belong. Nestle, Walmart, 50 Strong. How did that come about? Relationship. Somebody we work with liked us, was a believer in our brand, introduced us to the person that ran the race. Guess what? Told them our 50 Strong story. This is who we are. This is what we're trying to do. They became a brand. They became a fan of our brand. Guess what that helped us get? A sponsorship to that race, right? Guess who happens to be a runner? Again, we know all of this information, right? Our buyers. Many of the executives at Walmart, they're runners. So they go to pick up their race packet. What do they see? This sweet American flag made out of water bottles, which we thought was pretty sweet, right? Who's there? Brendan and Ashley Thompson, and Mackenzie, who's also up here, who's our marketing coordinator, right? Awesome job for us. Fun fact about Mackenzie, no marketing background. Her degree is in exercise science. 50-strong marketing department, exercise science plus attorney. I hope that gives you all a lot of hope, right? We show up. Finish line of the Bentonville half marathon, right? Run, 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 run. I'm not a runner. Brendan's a runner. Cross the finish line. Who is holding the tape? Brendan and Ashley Thompson. And at some point, you're like, oh my gosh, those people are everywhere. They're everywhere, right? Guess who's not at the finish line? Nestle, our competitors, although they have water. Our competitors, not there, right? So when you think of 50 Strong now, like, and so many people, when they think of companies, you think of like this big monster corporation, right? And right now, these big monster corporations are evil, and everybody hates them. That's just the environment we're in, right? So one of the things we have tried to do is humanize our business, right? And every business is human. People just don't realize it. So we say that, 50 Strong isn't this company, right? It's us. It's Brendan and Ashley Thompson. It's Mackenzie. It's the people in our factory. It's Adam. It's Heather. It's Courtney. It's Sharon, right? That's who 50 Strong is, right? And when you can get people to realize that, guess what? They become fans, right? And they want to support you. So show up. We're those people that literally just keep showing up. I said we're kind of like that pesky bug you just can't get rid of, okay? Same thing for even getting our Walmart business, right? we have been pitching for the same department for 5 years. We just pitched him, this particular buyer, for 5 years. He only took our product once in the beginning. Didn't sell that well, full disclosure. Guess what? We keep going back. Because eventually, he's going to take our stuff. And he's going to take it in a big way. Fingers crossed it's this year, if y'all could cross our fingers for us, because we just pitched and we had some really awesome stuff. But how does that make us different? Because a lot of people, once they say no twice, they're going to stop going, right? Because it stinks when somebody says no. Even for consumers, I still get annoyed. We get Amazon reviews, and people say bad things about our stuff, and it's still I still take it personal. And a lot of people will say you shouldn't take it personal, and I would be much better off if I didn't take this personal, but I still do, right? Because you work so hard. For these Walmart pitches, we work so hard, and I know all of you can relate to this, all the hours that you put in, right? All the free time, especially if you're running your own business, you are working more hours than anybody else. And then somebody says no, and you're like, oh, it's like a punch in the gut. But guess what? We keep going back. And you earn a lot of respect when you keep going back. I know from our buyers, when you keep showing up, we earn a lot of respect. So for all of you guys, that's what those rules that I would leave you with. And from all the mistakes that we have made, what you can take out of it is anybody can be a great marketer, right? You know your business better than anybody else. Own it. If you don't know your business, learn it. There's no concrete rules. Be nice and keep showing up. So thank you all for your time.